Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And streaming on YouTube.
Powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. This is the Morning Sports Desk. I'm CJ Baumgartner, Corey Tackman over on the far side of the screen. And Corey, it's a Monday, which means we're talking with activities directors across Central Minnesota. Why don't you introduce our guest?
Well, we head to Sebeka. AD Jon Lillquist is with us. How are you, John?
Good.
Happy to have you along with. Where do you want to start? Lots of fun happening this fall at Sebeka on the athletic side of things.
Yeah, we have had quite a bit of success and looking forward to playoffs starting up here soon. We have a lot of teams that have some high hopes, so I guess we'll see, where that takes us.
All right, John, let's do it. I'm sorry, CJ, I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to make fun of John right out of the gate. You decided to leave the volleyball sidelines, and all they decided to do was keep on winning this season.
Yep, it just proves that I didn't have much to do with their success. So, in fact, I did stats one night, and we lost that night. So then I said there's definitely no way I can sit on the bench anymore.
Well, let's talk about that volleyball program this year, how they playing, where are they at, and what are the expectations with the section tournament right around the corner?
Well, right now we're the number 2 seed in the section. We've had some really big wins this year where we beat a 4A school and a couple 3A schools at a Duluth tournament. And then we've had some losses where we were kind of disappointed in them. So we've just been a little bit up and down. If we can find that consistency and really, be hitting in all gears going into playoffs, we feel like we have just as good a shot as anybody as, a state trip.
It's funny when you come off a state tournament berth from a year ago and graduated a number of players from that team, but you keep a core group that they've been a part of it, right? They all experienced it. Some of the players were a part of that roster, others not so much, but it matters so much just kind of experiencing that together from one year to the next, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, all those kids that came along with us last year, they were practicing that entire time. So you get, an additional couple weeks of practice and, they got to play together on the other side of the net against a lot of those seniors. So they were able to build up some chemistry, even though they weren't getting on the actual court. So all of that just really helps build into the next year. And then they kind of have that expectation going in because they see how fun it is and they want to be a part of that. And so they're willing to work a little bit harder.
And, just with the culture and with the things that have been going on for a long time at Sebeka volleyball, just what do you have to say about Coach Pouliou and all the work she puts in and just what it showed with the kids this year?
Well, I mean, what Becca does is just unbelievable for our program. I mean, the kids that leave the program always want to have, just have only good things to say and want to be a part of things and are always happy to come back and be around. And I think that says a lot. I just had an AD that was saying, that they had a rough fall because a lot of different complaints with volleyball and different things. And I said, geez, we've only had 2 coaches since I've been in Sebeka. And that was when I was a student in Sebeka, not when I was an AD. So, over the last 40 some years, we've only had 2 coaches and that consistency and that, really makes a big difference. I feel like when you know what to come and expect and know the expectations.
Let's move over to the football program then, John. They got a big win on Friday night on the road. Where's the Trojan football program at, again, as we start making our way towards the section tournament time?
Well, that was a big win. Like I was telling CJ, I think that's the first time we beat Verndale since 1970 something. So, of course, we haven't played them. So, we've only played them the last however many years, but it sounds good when you say it's first time we beat them in 40 years. But no, that was a real big win for us just because, they've always been a team, they've had such a good program. So that's kind of what you strive for when you come into, this league basically is you want to be, up there with the top programs and be able to compete with them and beat them. And so the first time beating them is a big, kind of big feather in our hat because they are, kind of the mark of excellence for many years. And I know maybe this year they're down a little bit, but they're still very well coached and it's still a big win anytime you can beat them. So that was a real big win for us. This week we have Ogilvy coming up, and Ogilvy's coming off a huge win over Mille Lacs. So we'll have our work cut out for us. But if we can beat them, we have a chance at possibly hosting a playoff game, and that's something that hasn't happened in quite a while.
And, just with that football program as well that's building, I know I talked with Coach Burgow a little bit in the preseason about things coming along, and numbers are getting up there. They're getting into a good spot, like you said, being competitive and having a chance to host a home playoff game in the first round. What can you say about kind of the buildup of Sebeka football over the last half decade now and where it's at there?
Oh, I've just been very proud of our program. Just, wins and losses regardless is just, where we started at, maybe 15 kids playing, in our first years and not having a lot of success to the point of, this year we had 26 kids to start the season and then, having some success. We're over 500 right now. So they deserve a lot of credit. The coaches have really put in a lot of work, gotten kids into the weight room, and the kids deserve a lot of credit too for putting in the time and making themselves better. And so, yeah, it's been a combination of, kids buying in and coaches getting them out there. And I've just been very proud of where we started to where we've come to now.
They're going to combine a little bit with football and volleyball here, but that Section 5 seems to be, at least as far as seedings, you and CJ were joking when I chimed in, like it seems to be wide open seeding-wise here with this short week MEA game. Of course, the volleyball section feels like it's wide open as well this year. Does it feel like things are up for grabs? You mentioned just the excitement around the school. It's funny how what it means in the fall to be in the mix everywhere, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think that, you see volleyball having success, and then football wants to be a part of that, and they have success, and it just kind of breeds that. And our cross-country team, like our girls especially, are, just doing really well and have another shot to make it to state again. So all that success, you see other people having success, and you kind of want to be a part of that too. And kind of pushes the other programs to keep up a little bit. So yeah, it's a real fun fall, and it makes everything go a lot better at school when teams are doing well, and it's just a fun atmosphere.
And you mentioned that cross-country program as well. Let's dive right in. Like you said, the girls cross-country team having a really, really strong season. Just what can you say about them?
Well, our coaches do an outstanding job. Nick Jasmer, Ed Heltonen, Nicole Oyster. Nicole used to be our head coach, and now she's our junior high coach. So, I mean, to basically have 3 head coaches is just incredible cross-country staff. And they do a great job of getting kids, to run their personal records, I mean, so many times at the end of the season, you see that, kids aren't just doing well, they're hitting their, personal marks. And they do a really outstanding job of getting them to that point, and then also incorporating that with the team. So you have, kids personally doing well, but also your team doing well too, because each individual is striving and getting to their best point. And so, yeah, they just do an outstanding job, just with their training and the way they develop their schedule, everything about their work. And I just have to give that coaching staff a lot of credit.
John, we joke about it a lot, CJ and I do, because neither of us were cross-country runners, but both of our brothers were, and both of our brothers were very good cross-country runners. And we always joke about what an atmosphere it is at these cross-country meets, because if you've never been, it is kind of unlike anything else you've been. It's all the other sports are combative, and not that it's not competitive. Cross-country is very competitive, but there is a vibe at these cross-country meets that stands kind of alone compared to these other sports.
Oh, for sure. I actually ran cross country one year, and I wasn't very good, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, I was blown away coming from team sports, and then you come into cross country and just how much you have everybody pulling for you. I mean, it doesn't matter where they're from or whatever. You're coming in and especially some of the runners maybe that are struggling or whatever, and everybody's there cheering and pushing you on. And so, yeah, it's a very different atmosphere, because you do have the competitiveness. You totally see, kids just trying to get that last leg in to really push it and whatever, but you also have people supporting that from other teams and other towns. And that's the really neat thing. It's not just your team supporting everybody. It's everybody.
And, like Corey kind of mentioned too, you mentioned the atmosphere at school and the hallways and all that kind of stuff. But, what's the atmosphere been like at the football field, in the Sebeka gym this year? Like we were talking about, in the mix for everything, cross country is doing well. Just what's it like to see the community come out and support these kids?
Oh, it's great because, you have just a lot of parents that are very supportive and a lot of relatives that come to games, but then to see all the other kind of fringe people that come and still want to be a part and still support. And then to see your student athletes come out. I mean, I'm a big believer in your extracurricular activities are such a building into your school. I'm dean of students, so I have to deal with discipline issues and things. And I just feel like your school year goes so much better when you have kids being involved, whether it's participating in the sport, whether it's being in the stands, supporting the kids that are out in the court. I mean, it just really builds a lot of camaraderie within your school and makes it for a fun atmosphere where people are supportive of each other.
John, before we let you get out of here, here's the opportunity to let us know, obviously a short week this week at Sebeka, but what else is happening around Trojan country this fall?
Well, typically we've had our not typically, but last year we started with our Hall of Fame. Just to let people know that this year, what we decided to do is instead of having our Hall of Fame in the fall, we're going to do our induction in the winter as a part of our homecoming, because our homecoming's in the winter. So we're going to look at doing our Hall of Fame induction on our Friday night before our coronation. So we're going to try that and see how that works this year for the first time. It's only the second year we've done it. So we're looking forward to doing that in the winter during our homecoming and see how that works. Otherwise, it's just a matter of a lot of events coming up, a lot of playoffs coming up, and we just hope that things go well there. In November, we also have our band is going to Disney World, so that's a big thing, band and choir both. So a lot of kids will be riding buses for a long time with a lot of chaperones, and that'll be coming up too.
Sebeka Activities Director Jon Lillquist joining us here on the Morning Sports Desk. John, appreciate the time as always. A lot of busy things happening at Sebeka. We appreciate you taking the time to hop on and let us know what's happening with these kids and with these programs.
Well, thanks a lot for having me.
Once again, want to highlight Sebeka Activities Director Jon Lillquist for hopping on the Morning Sports Desk. Always great, Corey, to get these activities directors on every Monday and just catch up on the things happening in playoff season right around the corner. It's been a fun fall at Sebeka, and we appreciate John taking the time during this busy MEA week to give us a few minutes to talk about everything going on.
And boy, is it loaded. Is it busy this MEA week? Isn't it? It's funny to get to this week and be like, oh, we got a game tonight. Oh, there's a game tomorrow. Oh, there's a game on Wednesday. Oh, that's right. It's just like
there's nothing Thursday, Friday, and it just kind of feels like a calm before the storm.
But also, thank God there's nothing Thursday, Friday, because next week is going to be, for us anyway, bananas.
Next week, games on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Yeah.
And then Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yes, exactly. It's awesome. We will take it. We want to be there.
Yes.
But also, you guys everybody's got to tone it down for a second.
It's a lot. They play 3 football games in 10 days, basically.
It is. The playoffs fly by. Like, you get through that first round, you're like, oh boy, there's all this stuff going on. And then after like 4 days, you're like, oh, we're already to the section championship game. Okay.
Yeah.
It's quick.
It's a lot.
It's fun. It's why we do it. Corey, you know what else is fun and the thing that we should go do? Maybe go to the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
Pizza Ranch asks, what's your favorite pizza combination? What's your go-to? If you were to make a special order for pizza, CJ, what's your go-to?
The Bronco is always a good one.
The Bronco, and of course, I've mentioned before that I like the pepperoni pizza with stuffed crust. It doesn't have to be pepperoni. I think the stuffed crust is very, very good. But it's not. Those are good old-fashioned traditionals, right?
Yeah.
At the Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Did you know that barbecue chicken and pineapple is an option?
What?
Did you pepperoni and green olives on stuffed crust? By the way, pepperoni green olives is an all-time great combination because the green olives brings a little saltiness to the mix. It's really wonderful. What else? Lots of favorites. Barbecue chicken and pineapple we talked about. Pepperoni and green olives. How about the Roundup with Alfredo on a stuffed crust? How good does that sound? And then the all-time classic, the Texan taco on the original crust. That's just one of multiple options that you can get, that you can order, that you can find on the buffet when you stop into the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. With all the games coming up this week, CJ, we talked about it. Games tonight, tomorrow, Wednesday, and then next week, games around the region every single day of the week except Sunday next week. That is not a joke. No games Sunday, but there will be games Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday next week. Why not make and take your pregame to the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade before enjoying some high school sports over the next couple of weeks? Powering the morning sports desk, Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
All right, Corey, we got a bunch of games happening, one of which is tonight, and it's a battle between two teams in the top half of Section 6A. And there's a new wrinkle on Section 6A this year. Give us all the deets.
There is a new wrinkle in 6A. There no subsection play. There's 21 teams in the section, and they're seeding them 1 through 21. And my guess is like this is just like a competitive balance sort of thing. They're just going to make sure that the best teams are appropriately seated. And because sometimes, you know, when you do subsection play, like the best 2 or even 3 teams might be in one subsection, which means your right to go to the state tournament doesn't always feature the 2 best teams. It happens. So I think as far as competitive balance, that's the reason to move to this. That's why most sections make that move. And I think both of these teams can make their case in Section 6A. The game in Henning tonight, we'll learn about the Hornets here first, who are 15-9 overall, 5-1 in Park Region Conference play, 5-3 in Section 6A play. The Hornets have a QRF rating of 79.4. They're coming off 4 straight wins, or the Hornets, over Sebeka, New York Mills, Brandon Evansville, and Sebeka again in the Perham tournament. And after tonight, they will have one more conference matchup at Pillager. That's tomorrow night to wrap up conference play. Wadena Deer Creek, the top team in the PRC. They're undefeated, 6-0. Henning's number 2 at 5-1. We mentioned Henning will play Pillager tomorrow night. And no matter what happens, the worst Henning can do is second place in the conference. Wadena Deer Creek goes to New York Mills. If the Eagles pull that one out, then there would be a tie atop the conference. And if Henning wins, a tie in the PRC. But right now, it's pretty much, I think, as straightforward as it gets in the PRC. Parkers Prairie is 23-3. They're awesome this year.
Really good.
8-1 in the Little 8 Conference. We'll go through those standings. They're also 13-2 in section play. We'll go through section brackets here in just a little bit. Their QRF rating is 109.3. It's 5 straight wins for the Panthers over CGB, Hillcrest Lutheran Academy, New York Mills, Roseau, and Henning. This is the final match of the season, regular season match of the season for the Parkers Prairie Panthers, who are going to finish as co-conference champions in the Little 8 with Hillcrest Lutheran Academy. Both teams after tonight are done. These are non-conference matchups tonight. So 8-1 in Little 8 play. Parkers Prairie and Hillcrest Lutheran Academy, the Panthers and the Comets, will share that Little 8 title. Now, here's where we get into the important stuff, right, CJ? We're starting to get into the section seedings, and we are far from being done as far as movement in the section goes, right? That is, I just don't know what else. There's still matches to be played. There's still movement to be had. One of those teams that happens to be really tight is Henning right now. It would be the 7 seed in Section 6A. Park Christian is 1 spot behind them, 1.4 points different in the rating from QRF. So maybe some movement to be had there, but really like West Central area, the 5 seed is at 46 in the state, and Park Christian, the 8 seed, is at 52nd in the state. So there could be a bunch of jumbling around. If the playoffs were to start today, the Parkers Prairie Panthers would be the 2 seed, and they would have an opening round bye. They would play Wednesday night next week against the winner of Underwood and New York Mills. Again, that's if the playoffs are to start today. There might be some moving around. If the playoffs were to start today, Henning would be the 7 seed and would host the 10 seed Wheaton Herman Norcross. So that is, there's still a lot to be determined. There's still nights of volleyball left, but that Section 6A tournament starts play on Monday already. So we are right there, right into it. They're seeding 1 through 21. And I know what you're wondering. Who's the top seed in Section 6A? That, of course, is Belgrade Bruton El Rosa. BBE with a 122.8 QRF value. They're 9th in the state, according to the QRF.
Is that good?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
7 o'clock pregame, 7:15 first serve tonight on 105.9 FM, the Superstation K-106, the Superstation K-106 app, and WadenaRadio.com. I'm excited for this one in Henning. That gym should be loud. These two teams are very good. This should be an awesomely competitive matchup. And two teams in 6A and a stacked 6A. 1 through 21 is just wild to me.
Wild.
Also, it's going to be funny when one of these times, I believe it's the first time. I don't think they did this last year. This
has to be the first year, yeah.
But it's not lining up to be this way. But if I'm not mistaken, Benson is in this section, and so is Norman County East, Ulen Hitterdall. Could you imagine that first round matchup?
There is a bit of a bus ride. Yeah. Maybe they just meet up in Alexandria or something.
Yeah, state.
Maybe they just meet up in Alec. Maybe that's the play.
Maybe, I guess. I like the move. I actually appreciate that move. Because I agree. You want the two best teams at the end of it, if at all possible.
Right. Exactly. And it's just one of those where, yeah, like other sections have done that. I know 8AA famously does it, has been doing it for a long time in a lot of their stuff, because also geographically, they're just so spread out in ways where you kind of have to, just to make sure everybody's kind of getting, like you said, that competitive balance. And it's the right move, I think. And I think eventually
I think they all do it that way.
Right. I think 6AA does it all that way. I mean, really, I think, we're not too far removed, I think, from it kind of being that way universally, although I've been wrong before. I've been wrong before, but I think that's the move everybody's kind of headed to, right? Is just trying to make it a little more balanced for everybody.
It's hard because
a lot of travel is the reason that you divide them up into subsections.
Correct. And like, especially in Class A schools, in the smallest schools, it's a lot of travel, but there's also 1 million schools. There's 21 teams in Section 6A. Right. So like when you get up to those AA size schools, there's, each of those sections have like 14 to 16 teams, which is a lot. But as far as what is kind of common and what we all understand about bracketing, having 16 teams or 14 teams is easy and it's easy to make sense of. 21 teams is a lot. And so there's a lot of, I guess you call them the pigtail games that would start playing on Monday. But yeah, like a Benson to Norman County East Ulen Hitterdall is not ideal. If you look at like 8AA, right? You'd like Wadena Deer Creek to Roseau is like, both of those teams are in that section. That's not an exactly ideal travel destination for each of those teams. But also, right. I think we all agree that setting it up competitively does need to be like the trump card in all of this.
Exactly. And I think too, there is a lot of like pre-QRF days, you know what I mean? Where like, it was really hard to tell who was better than who when these teams never played each other or didn't have any like opponents. And like, how are you going to know? So let's divide it up into smaller sections. So that way they can put an emphasis on playing each other. And then you'll know kind of who's who and where to rank. So I do think that it's travel. I think it's pre-QRF days where teams used to just meet and they debate. And they still do this in some sports still, where you just get in a room and you all kind of have to hash out
the politics a little bit.
Right, exactly. You literally have to jockey for positions with everyone and kind of, a little, you got to do that stuff. And, whatever, that's part of it, but it's just, it feels like it's the right move. So a 21 team section though, is just, I still can't believe that. That's huge.
I don't want to I don't want this to sound like I'm calling somebody out, but oftentimes there is a discrepancy between in these sections, the northern half and the southern half. And what is the difference between an undefeated team from north of here compared to a 4 or 5 loss team from south of here?
Right.
Yeah, and that's where the QRF stuff is it removes the politicking and the lobbying and jockeying for position, and just you can tell straight up, oh, you're undefeated, but you beat Moorhead and Grand Forks and Crookston, or you know what I mean? Like that's a really good point. The QRF does change this and make the seeding a little more transparent.
Exactly. At the very least, there's a formula. So it's not just, oh, this person favors so-and-so. It's, no, this is what the formula says.
We've said it before. We'll say it again. You may not like the QRF, but it's rarely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be pretty accurate.
If you get annoyed by the QRF, just every time you talk about the college football playoff and get annoyed by that, that's what it kind of used to be.
Correct.
The BCS system was judged far too harshly. Remember like a decade ago when they set up the college football playoff and they were going to have the committee and it was like, this is so much better than a formula. And then all of a sudden everybody's like, wow, there's a lot of bias in this group. And it's like, maybe that formula wasn't so bad.
Yep. I agree.
Not that it's the be all end all, and the QRF isn't the be all end all, obviously.
It doesn't mean a team with the lower QRF can't beat a team with a higher QRF. That's not what that means.
Right. It just tries to calculate.
It's a strength of schedule.
Right.
I think I don't know the formula. I don't have it memorized. I don't know anybody else other than Ryan Phelps who has it memorized.
You mean you don't write it down in your sleep and try and calculate it from on paper?
Right. That's exactly right. But it seems to be pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be pretty close most times. And then what I like about it is it's bulletin board material.
Yeah.
That team's better than us.
Let's go show them.
That team's not better than us.
Mm-hmm. Bulletin board material is fun. I remember one time, this is a quick aside, we were in football. It was a year, we were, rebuilding. We weren't like a team to beat in the section by any means. And we were playing a team that was. And there was, all I remember is it was a Friday. You go, it's after school. You go home, get some food, do whatever, kill time for an hour or so. And then you come back to the school to go get ready for the game. And all I remember is we were all going into the locker room and there was just this big note on the door. And it was just somebody giving predictions of all the games in the area. And our head coach at the time highlighted the one of that game where they predicted us to lose like 62-6 or something like that.
They predicted the score too?
Yes.
Jeez Louise.
Super disgraceful. And let me tell you, it worked because we were like, we didn't win the football game, but boy, like leading up to that kickoff, like everybody like locked in a little bit. It was like, okay, like
it's funny because when you're removed from the situation, it sounds silly.
Right.
Even same. Well, like I have a scenario in my life where there's some bulletin board stuff. And even today, thinking about it, you're like, why would that possibly make a difference? How could that possibly make a difference and help or whatever?
Right.
I don't know what to tell you. It does. It makes you feel a certain way. It makes you execute and perform a little differently.
Well, and remember too, like go back and watch Tom Brady interviews when they were winning Super Bowls every year. And he's like, people doubt us. Who's doubting you?
No, you're on a 20-year heater. An unprecedented thing that's never been seen in this league. Not a single person is doubting.
Like the good teams find a way to have an underdog gimmick because you need to find a way to motivate yourself. There's somebody out there that says Steph Curry can't shoot, and Steph Curry finds that guy on Twitter and looks at it every single day and goes, I gotta shoot. Like you need that motivation, whether it's real or not. A lot of good competitors will create a false narrative in their head that they're an underdog, even when they're the best athlete in the room.
How many times did Michael Jordan say, and I took that personally in the doc, that's not a joke.
No, that guy's insane. He took everything personally because he wanted to do that to be competitive.
We're so lucky these athletes decided to be athletes and not serial killers because they'd be good at that too. They're psychos.
Very much so. All sociopaths. And I mean that in a very endearing way.
No, they're crazy. There's like almost none of them could most normal people actually be friends with.
Mm-hmm.
They're lunatics, all of them.
Lunatics. But let's talk about people who aren't lunatics, Corey. How about the great competitors in section girls tennis that took place over the weekend? What are the big storylines we need to know?
Yeah, let me. I'm going to pull up the article here just to make sure
people check out that article, Corey.
All of the they can find it at WadenaRadio.com. It's in the local sports section of WadenaRadio.com. It's titled "Girls Tennis: Who's Going to State." It's also up on Sports Cow on Facebook, #Moo. There we go. So we've got some area highlights. Now, not every section around the region is done yet, at least according to the Minnesota State High School League site. In particular, still waiting for Section 7A to sort things out. But I can tell you that 8A, 8AA, and 8AAA are officially in the books. We know who's going to the state tournament next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, in the metro. Okay, Class A CJ will be played at the Reed Sweat Tennis Center. They do the team stuff Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they do the individual stuff, the singles and doubles tournaments, on Thursday and Friday. The 2A tournament is at Lifetime Bloomington South. The 3A tournament is at the Baseline Tennis Center on the University of Minnesota campus. Out of the singles tournament in Section 8A, the top two seeds, the top two finishers, first and second, advance to state. Ronnie Noska of Staples Motley wins the championship. Ruby Leach of East Grand Forks is the runner-up there. 7-5, 6-4 were the scores. On the doubles side of things, Anna Fiebmeyer and Kaylee Endress defend their doubles championship in that 8A tournament. They defeat Anna Helling and Brooke Schilling of Parkers Prairie, 6-1, 6-2. Both of those teams advanced to the state tournament there. In the 8AA tournament, Kaya Anderson of Perham New York Mills, she's going. She wins the championship over Allie Bredenberg of Fergus Falls, 6-1, 6-1. And then, CJ, they do true seconds in these tennis tournaments. Grace Konzemius of Becker ends up knocking off Bredenberg 7-5 and 6-0 to take that true second. On the doubles side of things, check this out. You'll like this. Ruby Ellison and Ashton Lill of Fergus Falls beat Hattie Fullhart and Dylan Lill of Fergus Falls. So both Lills are going to the state tournament in the doubles side of things. And then Fergus Falls, the Otters, are your team champs after beating Becker 5-2.
Sounds about right.
In 8AAA, this is big time here. Addison Stevenson and Kennedy Stevenson of Alexandria area, they win their true second match over Samantha Vall and Julia Duchesne of Monticello, 6-4, 6-1. They go to the state tournament as a doubles team. But as a team, Alexandria area, the 3 seed, beat Elk River 4-3. And the Cardinals are going to the state tournament as a team for the first time ever. So those results are up at WadenaRadio.com, and on Facebook, just follow Sports Cow. Moo, congratulations next week at state tennis.
Moo.
That's
all that needs to be said. Yeah, congratulations. A lot of great efforts. Obviously, some players from around the area, including Noska, who's going back to the state tournament, and Andrus Fiebmeyer going back again. So really, really cool. Congrats to all of them, and best of luck next week competing down at that state tournament, which is just always an awesome atmosphere. So
no doubt.
A lot of great things there. Corey, one more great local news story we should talk about before we get off here. Breaking news this morning coming out of Staples Motley High School when it comes to one of their seniors this year who made his college commitment. Corey, what do we have?
Well, you're talking about a kid who's going to advance collegiately and play at the next level, and a kid who really had his choice of whatever he wanted. He's Dave Winfield of Staples Motley. Colby Tappy, senior Colby Tappy, is going to go play baseball next year at St. Cloud State. The kid's got gas. He throws it 90 plus. He catches for him. He's an absolute left-handed stick out of the 3 slot of their order. We know how good he is as a football player. We know how good he is as a wrestler, but baseball is his passion, and it's fun to see him moving into the Hardy NSIC and getting to play at the next level. Congratulations, Colby.
Yeah, really great baseball player. I know you had the opportunity to cover some of the baseball games over the spring. I was able to cover a few games over the spring in the postseason. And yeah, that kid with the bat in his hands can do some stuff, as they say. Yeah. And yeah, that good right arm. But whether it's behind the plate, whether it's on the mound, anywhere on the field, really, really solid player. And of course, going into a really, really solid conference in the NSIC, and not too far from home as well, just down the road. About an hour or two along Highway 10 to go play at St. Cloud State. Congratulations to Tappy, and I know his head coach is certainly feeling pretty good today, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good point.
That's probably a good point as well. His dad, by the way, his dad's head coach, for those who
Colby, way to go, buddy.
Awesome. Congratulations. Best of luck. And yeah, really, I mean, he could have went collegiately for football, as we've seen this fall. Wrestling, he's already a state champion. And, you know, for baseball, obviously, he's put together a really nice career. So that's awesome. Congratulations.
Probably drives it 300 yards right down the middle of the fairway, too, if you give him a golf club.
Might as well. Just do something athletically. You could probably do it pretty well.
He's a wrestler, but I guarantee he goes 6 of 10 from the 3-point line. Throw back. You know what I mean?
At the very least, like, you throw him a basketball and he at least would know what to do with it. You know what I mean?
Listen, Colby, I'm proud of you. That's very exciting. I hate these guys who are naturally athletic. It's so annoying.
Why is he so good at everything athletically? What the heck?
Try to suck. I had to work my ass off just to be bad.
Oh man. All right, Corey. Let's speaking of being bad, the Minnesota Twins, they're done. Obviously, for a while, but the memory of the Minnesota Twins still lives on in our hearts and minds. And when you watch the players that they traded play,
does it
postseason?
Does it?
Yeah, kind of.
The classic Minnesota thing, by the way.
We're living vicariously through other athletes because our teams suck. It's like when all the Wolves fans were cheering for Kevin Garnett.
Just trying to take any credit anywhere, somewhere that we can get.
Hashtag one of us, one of us, one of us.
Man, were we proud to claim Louis Varland not that many nights ago. And then a mere 48 hours later, we're like, who? Louis Varland?
Well, Louis Varland did, by the way. I know he gave up that big home run to Aaron Judge, but the very next game, he started and got a shutdown first inning and put his team in a position to succeed. By the way, he's under team control until 2030. Just as
an aside, that means nothing, but means everything.
That means that, yeah.
All right.
Anyway, he's with the Toronto Blue Jays. No justice for Ty France. I know Zeke's on that bandwagon. He's an inactive member of the team, which means the Twins just didn't want to pay the rest of his salary. So they dumped him to Toronto, and Toronto's like, okay, go up to Quebec. We don't want you in Toronto.
I don't. No offense to Ty France, that one doesn't bother me so much.
I'm so sick of the French. Anyway, but Louis Varland obviously playing with the Toronto Blue Jays. They are in the mix. They had game 1 of the ALCS last night. They lost to the Seattle Mariners. Came off a classic 15-inning game. I was listening to that game after our football games on Friday night. That was awesome. Just one of the best baseball games of all time. That'll go down as a great one. And who had the game-winning hit, Corey, for Seattle in that game 5 of the ALDS?
CJ, I'm gonna say something right now that's gonna make you mad. I've watched 0 seconds of playoff baseball.
I want you to guess. There is one former Twin on the Seattle Mariners squad.
Yeah, I know. I happen to know that it was our dear friend Jorge Polanco. Yeah.
And not only that, Corey, in game 1 of the ALCS, got 2 RBIs. Again, he's clutch, man. You can't make me say a bad word about Jorge Polanco.
I have one bad thing to say about Jorge Polanco, but he righted that wrong and became a very good player for the Twins for as long as he could be. And he ended up staying a very nice player despite that wrong.
And okay, I got the second wrong, which was an error he made at shortstop in the playoffs in 2020.
I mean, yeah, he had some physical problems.
He's not a great fielder, but boy, can he hit.
He really is a nice baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to go down as a guy that no one will remember, right? He's in 20 years.
20 years, he'll be an obscure Hall of Very Good. Fans
will be like, name a random second baseman. And somebody will be like, remember Jorge Polanco? Wasn't that guy awesome? That's who he is. Who is a really nice baseball player for now, like a decade.
Right. He got called up in 2014 because the organization just didn't have anybody who could play shortstop. So He got called up when he was like 19, or he was super young when he got called up, and he just kind of held his own. He played for Ron Gardenhire. That's how long he's been in the league.
Yeah.
With the Twins.
Well, he can play for Toby when his next contract comes up if he wants to come back home.
He is a free agent next fall, but based off his hitting now in the playoffs, he, I think, has outpriced himself for the Minnesota Twins.
I'd like to congratulate the New York Mets or Yankees or Los Angeles Dodgers or I don't know, who's the other random one? Texas?
Texas randomly will overspend for somebody. San Diego.
Yeah.
They'll put together the Infinity Gauntlet of Twins.
Toronto, Baltimore.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody's going to scoop him up. Either way, it's been really cool to see Jorge Polanco play, which has been great. I'll get back to Jorge Polanco in a second. I just want to also mention over on the other side, former Twins catcher for like 5 seconds, Ben Rohrvedt with the Dodgers. Who cares? And Trevor McGill, who the Twins didn't really want in their bullpen and then asked to be traded. So the Twins at the beginning of 2023 traded him to the Milwaukee Brewers, where he's become a lockdown closer.
It started the other night.
Yes, he was the opener in that game.
And I saw that because he came out to he's got like all the closers do now. He's got like an
intro video,
I'm gonna punch you in the face kind of intro, and so they started the game with his video. He came out onto the field with. Whoa, that's cool. That's really cool.
You're coming right out of the gate swinging. Yeah. It's an elimination game, bitter rival in the Cubs. You had to. And anyway, but back to Jorge Polanco for a second. It's a lot of people have revisited now because, of course, now we get to the discourse of Twins let a guy go. And like with the Varland one, it's a little bit of like, okay, that one didn't make a lot of sense. But with the Jorge Polanco one, everybody's got this revisionist history that, the Twins Jorge Polanco should still be with the Twins. And mind you, this is just my quick soapbox. I love Jorge Polanco. I can't say a bad word about that guy, pretty much. Like, that guy was awesome. Like, a really good, like, favorite 20 teens player. And he should be remembered as such. And great clubhouse guy, great all that stuff. He needed to be traded after the 2023 season. I don't know if you know, but there was a guy named Ed Julian who benched Jorge Polanco in the middle of the season. He was playing that well. Polanco tried to move to third base, and it didn't go very well. But, like, he did that because he wasn't going to play if he didn't do that. And if it wasn't Ed Julian, Brooks Lee was coming up. And if it wasn't Brooks Lee, Luke Keyshaw was coming up. Like, there was
Royce Lewis,
right?
Miranda. There was this glut of really young
Carlos Correa filling shortstop that kind of made everything out. Like,
it's the thing we've been talking about the Twins for the last half decade now. Is there was this glut of infielders coming up, and the Twins needed to decide who was going to be who for the next half decade plus. And one of those guys required a lot more money that this team traditionally doesn't like paying.
Well, and you had a lot of younger kind of talent on the up and up. Polanco, was somebody who was hurt for a lot of that 2023 season. And, he had a big home run in the playoffs against the Astros. Like, he had a couple playoff moments. I'm not trying to take that away from him.
Totally.
But, like, he didn't have a strong 2023 season. So it felt like the time to move off of him, to go into some of your younger guys and kind of move forward from there. Where the Polanco trade gets muddied in the waters, Corey, is because I don't think the Twins really traded Polanco for what he was worth. And again, we talked about he didn't have a strong season. It's not like the Twins were selling high on Polanco, but it's the sense of the Twins basically sold Polanco because they needed to clear salary space to sign Carlos Santana because the team tried to quote unquote right size the payroll that winter. So it's not like you were trading Jorge Polanco for the best starting pitcher you could get or the best first baseman you could get. You were trading him to clear money so you could sign somebody else. And that guy ended up being Carlos Santana. Now you got a top 100 prospect in Gabby Gonzalez, who if he pans out, the trade is fine. But you had Anthony DiScofani, whose arm blew up on impact, never played for the Twins. You had Justin Topa, who was a monster in 2023, but that kind of felt to be that the Mariners sold high on him, and he's just a fine middle reliever. Like, so there's a lot of this where it's a lot of like the Polanco trade in theory was supposed to work, but also now that everything blew up, it's also the trade got messed up because the Twins didn't really trade Jorge Polanco for the best deal. They traded him to try and do 5 different things because the ownership hamstrung the front office.
Well, so that, I mean, that is that it has been the story about the Twins for basically all of our lives, is that like you can break down a bunch of different things all you want. The truth of the matter is like, it has to be under the veil of how is ownership messing this up.
Right.
And this is just one of those things where what about that story sounded any different than what the Twins just did this past trade deadline? You know what I'm saying? But this is also important, and I'm not defending ownership by any means, because I never will. But you can't keep everyone.
Right.
And you have to decide, am I going to keep Jorge Polanco? That means I probably need to trade Brooks Lee. And in 2025, I know it was a weird year for him, but like in 2025, or as we get ready for 2026, how are you going to feel about Brooks Lee not being on the roster?
Right. Brooks Lee at the time, by the way, was the Twins' like number 2 prospect and a top 10 overall pick.
Correct.
The same people who get mad at losing veterans also love prospects coming up and say, no, you can't trade a prospect either.
You can't pay everyone all the time, everything, and then keep everyone, because you are either paying the guys on your major league roster and then trading those up and comers for win now supplement the major league roster, or you have to get rid of those guys who are making all the money at the major league roster because you have to see what's coming up. It's just the game you have to play. The Twins pick wrong. Their hit rate on wrong is, I don't know, it feels like it's 95%. I don't know what it actually is. It seems like they screw everything up every time they're given a chance to screw it up. But like, you can't feel bad about the Polanco thing. They would have had 9 guys to play 4 positions.
Right.
There's nothing you can do about that. And they chose the cheapest option of all of them, which is not surprising, but you got to choose. You have to choose.
And it was the cheapest option, but also it's a lot of organizations do this. We have a good top 5 internal prospect coming up. Well, this is now, a good organization would trade Polanco for the best return or trade him to clear up money to go get somebody else. And of course the Twins, I mean, they did, but they didn't in the same way, or they would have just kept Polanco and made him the team's DH or something like that. Or like, because there is a world where maybe whatever, but it felt like Polanco's time with the Twins was done. It was time to move on. And that happens. The guy played for the Twins for like 10 seasons. So he lived a long, there is an outside shot Jorge Polanco like gets into the Twins Hall of Fame. So like, there's a lot of things at play in that. But.
So, and to like, just to play the game a little bit, like, let's just pretend that 2025 was a good year for the Twins.
Right.
That was a good year. There would have to be real conversations about, is Keyshaw a guy that you keep?
Right.
Or is he a guy that you need to trade because they're one starter away, or they're a bullpen arm away, or they can get the starter that they need and a right fielder, or whatever is the starter that they need and a serviceable second baseman in return. Like, so that's the part of this thing is the only time you can keep everyone, there's only one time, and that's when you suck. And the Twins suck. So right now they're going to keep everyone.
When you suck, or your owner just wants to blast out the payroll, like above and beyond anything.
Right, exactly.
Like,
the Dodgers
get George Steinbrenner kind of thing of like, I'll just pay to keep everybody around.
Yeah, they get to keep everybody, but then it's what makes the Dodgers so special, because they get to keep everybody and their farm system is good. Like they get to have their cake and eat it too somehow by some magical deal with the devil. But typically that's hard. You can't have everybody and then keep a farm system.
Exactly. It's the nature of pro sports. Like you can't keep everybody. So
may Polanco rest in peace. He was fun. I hope he's good. I hope Cal Raleigh just keeps hitting home runs.
What a great home run he had yesterday.
The coolest. He's the coolest.
It's awesome.
Is a perfect baseball name. He just looks like you can add him to the list of like guys you'd want to play slow pitch softball with.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like he's a catcher. Like he's just a baseball guy through and through, from the position to the name he just hits dingers. Like it's
name.
The big dumper. He's the coolest. He's the coolest guy in baseball right now.
Yeah. Is it sustainable year in and year out? Probably not, but let's just enjoy this heater he's on.
It's 2 years.
Let's enjoy it. And let's, by the way, not give the MVP to Aaron Judge. Let's give it to this guy.
Did you know in his major league debut, he hit like a pinch hit home run he had a pinch hit, like game winning hit to send the Mariners to the playoffs for the first time in 2 decades.
Yeah. Something like that.
That's his introduction to professional, but like he's a legend.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's a legend in Seattle Mariner lore already. I love that kind of stuff.
Oh, speaking of former Twins who are on the Mariners, Mitch Garver. Forgot about that guy.
Garv Sauce is with the Mariners.
Yes, he's their backup catcher.
He sure is.
Yeah, this year. Yeah.
I will forever think highly of that 3-headed catching crew of Garver and Castro and Astudillo from time to time. That was one of the.
I just think about how fun the 2019 Twins were.
That catching unit was the deepest, most productive catching unit maybe ever. I mean, it was just stupid. They all hit like 330 and hit I think combined they didn't hit as many home runs as the big dumper has hit this year, but as a unit, they were awesome. I will love those 3 guys for forever.
How dare you spit on the Twins catching room production of Joe Mauer getting like a 350 average and Mike Redmond at 200. Combine them together. It's a good.
I don't think Mike Redmond gets quite enough credit because it's so easy to make fun of him and the scenario that he just always hit third.
Well, you can't mess up Morneau's rhythm.
Super funny thing. Redmond was better than that.
Yeah. Redmond was a good, fun backup catcher. Which is why Cal Raleigh's fun, because Raleigh was kind of that backup middle tier catcher that all of a sudden has caught fire now, because that's how you get a nickname like the Big Dumper, when you're kind of just a guy. Like, if you're a big superstar guy, you don't get a nickname like the Big Dumper. But
I'm just trying to find his batting average in those years with the Twins. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
05, he hit 311. 06, he hit 341. 07, he hit 294. 08, he hit 287. And then in 09, he hit 237, which feels right. Mike Redmond was good.
It was good. He also only played once a week, but yeah, like that helps the average out.
I mean, if you're going to do it, like you have to, that's why that Garver Castro Astudillo thing was so special, because they split time. Mainly Garver and Castro, but
it was like a 40-60 split.
But every single one of those guys, like when they played, they produced because they had to.
Right. If I keep producing, I'm in the lineup more.
If you're Castro and you don't produce, they'll just give those catching innings to Astudillo, because that dude was hitting everything.
Yeah.
So for Redmond, like, he had to produce. He wasn't given a ton of opportunities. He played on Sundays and then maybe one other time during the week.
Right.
You have to produce, otherwise we can find somebody else to do it.
He would play on Sundays and basically any day game after a night game.
That's pretty much correct.
Pretty much it. The favorite Mike Redmond highlight, there's 2 of them. One of which is he had a walk-off single, I believe in like 07. And all I remember is he hit it just like a little slap single, like right up the middle at the dome. And all I just his face, he just
yeah,
like that classic Redmond face. The other one was with Redmond was the triple he hit in 09. So like, the triple, and it's mainly fun because Bramer and Blyleven are laughing the entire play.
It's a wonderful call.
And they cut, and Bert as well. They cut like before the camera even cuts to him because he can see the different angles. Yeah. He's going, look at Gardy in the dugout, and Gardenhire fell off his pail laughing.
I mean, Redmond is running as hard as he can, and you can hear the ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum.
You can hear the chugga, 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 like it's building momentum, and he still had to slide. Like any other player, that's an inside the park home run.
Without there's a joke, right? You stretch a triple into a double or a double into a, that was he stretched an inside park into a triple.
Well,
that last year for Redmond, he hit 294 in 82 games. He played half the season that year.
Yeah, because Maurer was hurt for the first month of the season.
Yep.
So he got a lot of time. Also, Jose Majares, the other backup catcher that year.
You remember him? No, Redmond was good. I won't take any Redmond slander. It's just, but I will get the scenario was always really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Get that guy 7th, please.
Please. Just move him down. I promise you, Justin Morneau can hit 3rd.
Put any other player 3rd.
Look, move Morneau up to 3, put Kadire at 3, anybody.
Just move anybody else there. It could have been anybody else. The
other hard and fast Ron Gardenhire rule. Play second, bat second.
Second basemen are supposed to hit second. I agree with that.
That was the bat, mainly because it was Denard's going to get a single. You're going to bunt him over, and Maurer and Morneau are going to hit him in.
You want to do this real quick? If you play second base, there's 2 spots in the batting order you should hit. What are they?
Probably second, and I'm going to guess you're going to go with 9th or something.
Don't you agree with that?
I mean, as a general rule, yeah.
Generally speaking?
Yeah.
Generally speaking, if you are first, if you are the leadoff hitter, what position should you be?
If you're a leadoff hitter, you're probably you're most likely a center fielder.
Or a shortstop.
Yes, that was my other one, yeah.
Those are the 2 positions that if you're the 3 hitter, what spot are you?
Probably first base, maybe third base, maybe a corner outfielder.
I think it's any of the corners. And then I've had enough good center fielders in my life.
Right.
There's 5 spots you can play defensively and be a 3 hitter.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it works. There's spots. There's the stereotypes for all of them.
Exactly. It's almost like baseball's been a game that's been around for like 150 years. So people have thought about this a while.
If you're a catcher, where are you supposed to hit in the order?
Probably 8th.
8th or 9th. That's just how it works.
Right. In the National League, 8th. Traditionally.
Correct.
You would hit 8th every single time.
Yep.
All right. We're out of here. Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.